I'm popping in quickly because I inevitably end up coaching a lot of women who bring up the label of I'm a HSP or my child is a HSP. So, and I just want to pop in because I end up doing so much and because I myself identify with that label. I just want to break it down a little bit. A HSP ends up, a highly sensitive person, if you're not familiar with that language, ends up being a label that justifies a set of behaviours or traits or ways of handling and viewing the world and challenge that kind of go, well, I just am. So, it's just so hard for me because the rest of the world is like this and I'm like that. And I just wanted to break that down just a little bit, just breathe a little bit wider into the fact that HSP, highly sensitive person, is also, I'm unboundaried with my energy. I lose myself in your chaos. I can't hold on to myself while I'm fully feeling you in your experience. You are like the seaweed that's being tossed around in someone else's wave. You're lost 2 feet in chaos. You don't have one in regulation and one in dysregulation. You're gone. You're swept up in someone else's experience. You feel them so deeply that you are literally in every inch of that emotion with them as it's happening. You can't help someone when you are lost in their chaos. That's not empathic. That's unboundaried energy. That's someone who has not learnt how to hold on to themselves whilst feeling and loving another. That's someone who has learnt through, I imagine, many different childhood patterns, a version of codependency. I must be immersed in you. I must be attached to you. I must feel fully connected with you and in your stuff and feel that we have this tangible experience together in order for me to be safe and okay. And I will give up my own experience. I will stop listening to my body. I won't even know what my boundaries are because I can't even feel my body, because I will give up as much as you need of me in order for me to feel like I'm safe and I'm attached because I'm with you. And we do this in relationship and we do this with our children. And this is the, Mummy, I need you, I just need you. And you go, I know, honey, you do just need me. And then underneath all of that is you're meeting that and you're meeting that because they need you and they need you and they need you. And it's this version of codependency that pushes, which we're designed to do as beings. We have to be pushed in codependency. If someone is needing our sense of internal self in order to be safe and okay, we will tolerate that only so far. And we will get to the point where that infatuation with that person feels so intense that person's that is the embodiment of the infatuation will at some point push back. And that pushback looks like the resentment that's underlying and building up while someone is infatuated with you, or you're infatuated with the idea that you need to be fully attached in all of these ways in order to be in someone else's experience in order for you to be okay. You haven't learnt that sense of I'm okay on my own. And so in a mother-child dynamic, it looks like the child with intense needs that only mum can meet, and mum needs to be around and she's the focus all of the time. And it's this beautiful mirror of the HSP experience where you will be doing those exact traits and completely blissfully unaware of them, which is why this mother-child dynamic is so beautiful as a representation to our healing. And often it'll come up in relationship. So giving up whatever you need in order to meet needs and meet service and be in service, and I just need to make sure that we're okay, so I'll be in this way, and so many ways that it shows up. And then it becomes part of this mother-child dynamic, and then all of a sudden these beautiful women who are so used to connection looking a certain way and have learned so much that their own sense of boundaries and needs, they don't even know what they look like or even how to tap into what they feel like when we're trying to say, what's that edge between you and your child? Because it's never been learnt. It's not an embodied state. And so I'll meet your needs and I'll meet your needs and I'll meet your needs until I'm so fucking resentful, I burst and I explode and I can't do this anymore. And then I'll shame myself and guilt myself into the fact that I haven't and we're not. And my child will show me all of the ways that now they don't feel safe because we're not like this. You're in this cycle that really is designed for you to recognize the level of codependency, which is really, I think, one of the core factors of a HSP experience. so that we're designed to build enough resentment that we will push that person who's losing themselves in us away, because they're not seeking that independence on their own. So we're designed, that's the beauty of relationship, right? We're designed to push back against the thing that universally is there to grow through the experience of relationship. So beautiful HSPs. I know, because I fully identify with that label at one point in my life as well. But I just want you to know that there is a way to learn how to love that means I can feel me and I can feel you. I can be in my experience and I can feel your experience. And therefore, as a parent, I'm able to be the anchor, because I'm not 2 feet lost in your chaos. I'm not watching my kids fight and I can't handle it and I'm tapped out and I'm yelling and I'm not lost in the chaos. I have me and I feel you. That's a real difference to I'm swept up in someone else's experience, and learning that level of boundaried energetic exchange where we're designed to grow, to love more pieces of ourselves and find more pieces of ourselves is largely the work I end up doing with these women. And it's a gift for life, because don't forget, any area of life that's feeling challenging for you right now is kind of the big red arrow from your higher self. You want a different reality, you have to change the way that you're currently functioning and running. And that means these stuck bits hold the potential that can be unleashed when we uncoil what's really tightly wound and bound up in story and old patterning that often comes from childhood and then is just, we're just on a cycle of repeating. So, I don't even know, beautiful HSPs. I want you can still love that label, but labels are limiting. And I want you to be bigger than a label. I want you to see these things that are really immensely hard and not leave them there going, oh, well, I just am and it's so hard for me. I'd rather you rose up into what this experience is and said, what's here for me to learn? How can I expand? How can this thing that is stuck and challenging for me be the root of my untapped potential? How can I learn to love deeper and wider and bigger? And how do I learn how to be in an even more embodied, orgasmic and parenting state, right? Because whatever we learn and challenge in relationship and in our childhood dynamics allows us to be bigger in the world. You can't have extraordinary, ecstatic, orgasmic experiences if you are completely lost in someone else's body. You have to have me while I feel you, and that is a dynamic that I can be in response with, not I'm lost in you, and not I can't feel you. There's a nuanced energetic exchange there, and that's boundary. But before we get to boundary, we've got to learn how to hold on to our own energy and then train ourselves to feel another. And that's, I think, for me, the crux of parenting and relationship, and looking at these challenges as opposed to finding all these creative ways to explain why they're here so we feel good, a way to expand into it. And that's what I want for you. Hey Dasha. Hi Ingrid. Oh Ingrid, I'm glad you needed to hear that today. Thank God. I nearly didn't jump on here. That's so good. HSP and energetic boundary issue. I think, yeah, totally Dasha. Yeah, self and less self-awareness. Yeah, I do. And I feel for these women because, man, they've never been taught it, right? You haven't learnt it yet, but that doesn't mean you can't. But if you stop at the label, you won't get any further. So, yeah. Big love to you. That's all I was coming in here to say, and I hope maybe there's something in there for you. And if you would love to work on this with me, then I would love to work on that with you. So you can hit up my softening package in bio, or go to the Pleasure Nutritionist, and we can certainly work further from there. But these beautiful women, I teach them how to hold themselves whilst holding another. And that's I think, the crux of relationship and parenting. But I'd love to hear what you think. I'll see ya.